The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
Hello, this is TVWAN News. Thanks for joining us. In this edition, Minister confirms organ transplant governed by law, young artists honored on World Environment Day, and Norris remains as PNG Orchids head coach. 87,990 grade 10 students across the country sat for their written expression national exam today. The students attend 514 secondary and high schools, including 48 private permitted schools in the country, who have been nominated to sit this important exam. Secretary for Education Dr. Uke Kombra confirmed earlier this week that the exam booklets were delivered to all the provinces and reached all the schools a week prior to the exam date. Dr. Kombra advised everyone involved in the examination process to prevent all tendencies towards any malpractice that may compromise the results. Investigation has started into the death of a young male student from Utme Secondary School in Gazelle District, East New Britain Province. The young man tragically lost his life on Tuesday, June the 3rd, after he was rushed to the hospital with an injury sustained from an attack by students from the Don Bosco Technical Secondary School.
The 2025 Inter-School Athletics Carnival, which was hosted at the Calabond Oval in Kokopo, was nearing conclusion on Thursday, 28th May, when over 200 armed students forced their way into the Oval. Police Station Commander Senior Inspector Neil Weber said the students from the Don Bosco Technical Secondary School were seeking revenge following the beating of two of their peers by students from Beta Parker Secondary School. However, instead of targeting their violence, they indiscriminately attacked students at Calabond, injuring several of them, including a grade 12 student from Utme Secondary School. Unfortunately, the young man succumbed to his injury on Tuesday, June 3rd. Senior Inspector Neil Weber said the Criminal Investigation Division is at the Nonga General Hospital to look into the case. An updated brief is expected by the end of today, with PSC Weber confirming that they have 135 Don Bosco technical students in police custody. He said the main charge that covered 134 students was in possession of offensive weapons, while one was charged separately for having a homemade gun with ammunition and drugs as well. PSC Weber further voiced his concern that technical students have been using school workshops to weld or construct weapons. He blamed the school administration for not supervising students when they are using school facilities. Meantime, following the death of the Utme student, additional charges are anticipated pending the outcome of the investigation.
Community Advocacy Organization Act Now is calling on the Prime Minister and regulatory agencies to take urgent action to address the huge discrepancies in log export values revealed in a recent report from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The UNODC findings, which are based on official PNG log export monitoring reports and Chinese customs data, shows foreign-owned logging companies could be defrauding the PNG government and resource owners out of billions of kina in revenues. The report reveals that the value of logs exported from PNG, as declared by the logging companies, is 50% lower than the value of the same logs as declared in China by the importing companies. Act Now is calling on the Prime Minister to order a full and transparent public inquiry into the log pricing discrepancies. Provincial member for East New Britain, Michael Marum, called on Prime Minister James Marape today in Parliament to clarify the delay in delivering the promised autonomous functions to the people of East New Britain and to provide a clear roadmap or timeline for these autonomy functions. East New Britain was prepared to achieve full autonomy by February 2023, as stated by former provincial member Nakikus Konga, with the province having attained 80% of the autonomy status and awaiting the remaining 20% to complete it.
Economic independence is the key to an autonomous province. Prime Minister James Marape says this in reply to questions surrounding the autonomy for East New Britain province in Parliament today.
Our Prime Minister, while we acknowledge the support the national government has provided to East New Britain over the years in key development areas, we need to know what the national government's stand is on this important agenda that has been outstanding for 24 years.
Marape emphasized the importance of economic independence for provinces seeking autonomy, highlighting infrastructure investments and local economic empowerment as prerequisites for effective autonomy.
Since the announcement in 2014, 2015, thereabouts, there has been some work happening. We now, through the Minister for Provincial and Local Level Government, have been asked to give a considered effort. We get these three provinces off the ground.
The Prime Minister further says that of all three provinces chosen by the government to trial the autonomy functions, East New Britain has shown more maturity in terms of economy independence.
We're trying to make it absolutely clear. It's an autonomy level below sovereignty contest. It's an autonomy level that transfers functions clearly augmented already in the provincial and local level government law to yourselves, but also where others we could transfer, we transfer. But with the transfer, you must be able to generate revenue. Your revenue must support the functions that you have as far as autonomy is concerned.
Marape has also been actively supporting development initiatives in East New Britain, including reopening Rabaul Town, infrastructure upgrades, and land title issuance for displaced families, signaling ongoing government engagement with the province's development. However, no explicit timeline or detailed roadmap for the full implementation of autonomous functions in East New Britain was outlined by the Prime Minister.
I want to congratulate East New Britain Provincial Government, Governor Marum yourself. Without making too much noise, they get on with the business of running their province and serving the people much, much better. In fact, unreservedly, in my view, they are possibly the leading provincial government in our country right now, overqualified for functional autonomy and economic autonomy consistent with this Pangu administration's view. And by September 16, the fullest definition of autonomy per se that we are tailoring will be announced to the country.
Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Minister for Health Elias Kapavore has confirmed that Papua New Guinea has a comprehensive legislative framework that governs organ and tissue donation and transplantation in the country.
Port Alasea Freddie Reu Kumai today sought clarification from the Minister for Health on the recent historical first ever kidney transplant on May 14, 2025 in the country. Kumai asked Minister Elias Kapavore to confirm if there are laws in place that regulate the process of organ donation in PNG, including donor consent, organ matching, and protection against commercial organ trade.
Will the upcoming legislation, if any, ensure equitable access to transplant service and prevent potential discrimination or misuse in organ allocation.
Kapavore confirmed that legal mechanisms are in place governing the transplant of organs and reiterated that oversight bodies are in place to ensure that future transplants are conducted ethically and in compliance with both national and international medical standards.
We have three important laws. Firstly, that covers the kidney transplants or organ transplants in Papua New Guinea. First law imigat Anatomy Act of 1962 or 61. Number two law imigat Principal Act of Public Health Act in 1973. Na amendment kangapla 2023. And I'm thank you long the former Minister for Health, Dr. Lino, lo making this arrangement in place, lo amending this Public Health Act of 1973. He got the clear section where it calls him that allows for organ transplants in the country. Emi clear, emi stop straight let slap. And then we got National Health Administration Act of 1997, where we talk law standards, talk law quality, talk law safety of how all these projects must be done by what kind of professionals, what kind of environment. All of these are already set up properly in the system.
Kapavore further said that legal protections are currently afforded to transplant patients and medical practitioners in the event of medical complications or disputes in the country.
So we got legislation stuff, and then we got policy stuff, we got SOP stuff, where to cover all ethical requirements, consent form blows out by donor, give him kidney, organ for that matter. Now you got to start by receiving this to only fully undergoing different process lawyer. Now only amas na arim talk, and then only get consent system where only been signing. So I want to say today that all of these systems are currently in place by our government. The performing kidney transplant in our country is safe, is fully covered by our various laws with all the policy and ethical projects in place.
Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Minister Kapavore further urged Papua New Guineans to make use of such health operational facilities in the country and not to spend thousands of kina overseas seeking the same treatment.
We have a heart facility there, KPHL supporting it with up to 10 million kina. We now have a 2,000 line only, instead of go to Australia, they are now only go to KPHL, a heart facility Bloyumi. Now only 72 days through 200 billion kina we are also supposed to go overseas. These are important achievements by our country. Important achievements. We'll be opening my brachytherapy cancer unit late this year. This year, September, by me opening the state-of-art cancer facility PMGH as well. So Prime Minister Tokosam, we need to reduce the number of our people going overseas. Leaders below government, leaders below parliament, our citizens today, I want to say that we are achieving this, making sure that our people have access to quality healthcare in our country, and we are on track.
You're watching TVWAN News. Among stories after the break, waste reimagined through art and a new aircraft joins to save lives.
Papua New Guinea, rich in biodiversity and culture, but our beauty is under threat. Plastic pollution is choking our way of life, polluting our waters, our land, and our wildlife. We can change this. End plastic pollution in Papua New Guinea. Reduce, reuse, recycle. This World Environment Day, let's take action for a plastic-free PNG. Let's build a smart, fair, healthy, and happy society.
PNG's favorite soft drink now in bottles. Goldspot brings you fresh, bold flavors in brand new 500ml bottles. Taste the rainbow. More freshness, more flavor, more fun. Lime, orange, raspberry, and pineapple. Proudly made in PNG. Proudly Goldspot.
Use Savetu Olsen condom and Wambla way where you can abrusim seek HIV, STI na unplanned pregnancy. Tingim, use him condom long right pla way. Stop safe na look out him you yet. Use him condom all get a time. Suppose you know save long HIV status long partner blog you or suppose you got plenty partner. Use him condom good all get a time. Long haborusim seek HIV, STI na unplanned pregnancies. Use him condom banisim you yet na future blong you. This platok save ikam long National AIDS Council Secretariat.
The PNG LNG project has now generated more than 30 billion kina for Papua New Guinea since production commenced. Nearly half of this amount has been paid as tax. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levies and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
Before the ultimate test, join us for a day with the legends.
Who will be crowned World Test Champions.
The two captains leading their teams into the World Test Championship final will give their thoughts on this epic clash.
That's a brilliant moment in this ultimate test.
Breaks of the game will then become immortalized as 7 new inductees will enter the ICC Hall of Fame.
One of the greatest in cricket history.
Welcome back. Students from Sogeri Primary School in Central Province joined millions around the globe in commemorating World Environment Day today, June the 5th, with a cleanup campaign and an awards ceremony honoring young artists. The event was led by a Japanese volunteer teacher under the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, and focused on this year's global theme, Beat Plastic Pollution.
World Environment Day, the largest global platform for environmental awareness, was brought to life today by a group of spirited Grade 5 students from Sogeri Primary School. In partnership with the JICA PNG office and the JICA Alumni Association, the children joined hands with their Japanese volunteer teacher and local staff to clean Ella Beach, one of Port Moresby's most visited coastal areas. This year's theme is Beat Plastic Pollution.
We have JICA volunteers in this country. We have 18 volunteers. And one of the volunteers who is working in Sogeri Primary School has organized this event to raise awareness of environmental protection through beach cleaning. Our hope is that this is a very beautiful country, but this is our responsibility, each one of our responsibility to keep this very beautiful environment and passing this into next generations. So this is why we are organizing this event to do the awareness raising of not only for those children, but also for everybody in this country.
Science, we study about environmental education, like water pollution, soil pollution, like how to prevent it. And then today, about 63 students are joining the excursion trip for Port Moresby. They understand that plastic is not biodegradable. We should put the garbage in right place, not like throw in the river, throw away everywhere.
Because it's important, because the environment must be clean. When it's dirty, the plants and animals will die. I want everyone to be helpful to collect rubbish.
As individuals, we must put our rubbish in the right place. Business houses can come up with ways to recycle plastic, and the government can come up with laws to stop plastic pollution.
Earlier in the day, 2 students were also honored during a small award ceremony for their achievements in the World Children's Drawing Contest held in Japan. The contest, which drew entries from across the globe, recognized the creativity and environmental consciousness of young minds, showcasing PNG's talent on an international stage. The celebration of World Environment Day by the Sogeri Primary School students reflects a growing awareness among young Papua New Guineans that the fight against environmental issues starts with small but committed actions. With the support of partners like JICA, initiatives like these continue to shape the next generation of eco-conscious leaders in Papua New Guinea.
Keep the environment clean at all times.
Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
Port Moresby Nature Park is turning trash into treasure, literally. A month-long sculpture festival launched today, coinciding with World Environment Day, is doing more than just impressing visitors. It's sparking a powerful message about plastic pollution.
This year's World Environment Day theme is End Plastic Pollution, a cause closely aligned with the festival's purpose. Through art, the park encourages viewers to reconsider waste as a creative resource and calls for national efforts to reduce plastic use. A magnificent turtle and majestic-looking dolphin and more, all made from discarded waste, now stand proudly at the Port Moresby Nature Park. The BSP Trash to Treasure Sculpture Festival has officially launched, aiming to turn environmental concern into community action.
BSP's been supporting this for a while, and there was a pause. So as soon as we got a request to do this, we thought it was a good way for us to give back to the community in terms of the kids, teaching them about pollution, teaching them about managing waste, teaching them about how to make use of waste around them. So the initiative that came about, if you look around, it actually would educate a lot of the kids that come through. Whenever they go back to their communities or their villages or schools, all of them will be looking forward to what can I do with this little waste that I see. So it's not only be responsible in the waste, but also how can we support in the little ways we can in our area or sphere of influence to add value back to our communities.
The festival, which runs from June 5th to July 5th, features sculptures created by volunteers and young artists from the University of Papua New Guinea, many of whom hope to inspire behavioral change through art. Sponsored by BSP, the festival also features family fun day events every Saturday, school excursions on weekdays, and public viewing sessions, all designed to raise awareness about the harmful effects of plastic pollution.
As you say, the Nature Park now has over 30,000 school children a year come through the doors. And every single one of them has many, many questions, as any parent in Port Moresby or Papua New Guinea will know. And so that's really what we want to do. We want to attract people's attention with these beautiful pieces of art. And when the attention is attracted, to have the signage there and to have our educators there who can explain what this means, why this sculpture was built out of trash, how much trash was used to create the sculpture, how much trash there is within Port Moresby and within Papua New Guinea and globally as well, into all those contexts, so that we can think, as Ms. Harry said, about how we can use that, how we can reuse, reduce our plastic pollution and recycle as well.
From trash to treasure, this festival is more than a visual spectacle. It's a message in sculpture calling for a cleaner, greener Papua New Guinea. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
At the BSP Trash to Treasure Sculpture Festival gets underway, students from the University of Papua New Guinea have played a vital role in bringing the art installations to life. Their involvement highlights how young people can lead conversations on sustainability, one sculpture at a time. With educational outreach woven into each exhibit, the festival is also serving as a platform for environmental awareness among students and the wider community.
Not only educate students in the university in terms of their content knowledge, but we want them to be inclusive and at the same time coming out with an holistic perspective of a student, not only limited to their studies. So having involved with Nature Park and this initiative of trash to trace program. It is something that we would like to encourage the students to look at themselves and the things around them, that they can also build something from nothing. And even though whatever kind of background that they are coming from, this initiative also helps them to know that they can even do better than what they think about themselves. It gives them the self-worth, and it gives them the challenge that regardless of situations, they can still make something out of themselves, or just like what they have been doing for the last 4 weeks with Nature Park, and in collaboration with the initiative that comes with or from BSP. Yeah.
Southern Highlands Provincial Police Commander Chief Inspector Ebenezer Neely has urged the people of Kutubu to respect the rule of law and adhere to police instructions. His call came during a recent event at Pimaga, where he presented new uniforms to reserve police officers assigned to the Pimaga Police Station.
Southern Islands Provincial Police Commander Chief Inspector Ebenezer Neely emphasized the importance of cooperation between the community and law enforcement to maintain peace and order in the region. During the presentation of new uniforms to reserve police personnel in Pimaga Police Station, PPC Neely highlighted that respect for the rule of law is crucial for the safety and well-being of all citizens, and that obedience to police directives can help prevent misunderstanding and conflict.
I don't see them supporting you people, long community, long other top long police. Who's a get by talking to you? So was you man don't make himself like Pegato, and this not time today, you sanity and nuclear year 2025.
The presentation of the new uniforms not only represent a boost in morale for the reserve police officers, but also underscores the commitment of the police force to serve the community effectively. Neely expressed gratitude to the officers for their dedication and hard work, urging them to uphold their responsibilities with integrity and professionalism.
At least one time we will talk to people from Papua New Guinea. No, we are not like that. At least one time, I'm not looking at them. Maybe you know this land. So time we like putting water go check on energy election. Me that give you plus sit down good now. Making good plan leader you think and by helping you long for the next 5 years. But me like go long.
He encouraged community members to engage with the police positively and to view them as partners in fostering a safe environment. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Police Commissioner David Manning has congratulated the 226 new members of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary following the pass out on Monday.
In a statement, Commissioner Manning said these young men and women have demonstrated the commitment, discipline, and determination required to join frontline policing. They now take their place in serving communities across the country at a time when law and order remains a priority for the government. He said these graduates represent a broad cross-section of the nation, with recruits drawn from nearly all provinces across Papua New Guinea. Among them are 25 women, reflecting the constabulary's ongoing commitment to increasing gender representation within the organization. He said a further recruit intake will commence training in mid-June, with another intake scheduled for the third quarter of this year. Commissioner Manning thanked the government for its ongoing investment in the constabulary's modernization efforts, including training, resourcing, and international partnerships. In closing, the Commissioner spoke directly to the new police personnel, reminding them to wear the uniform with pride, serve with honor, and always remember the trust placed on them by the people of this nation, and execute their authority with diligence and fairness. Tracy Pa, TVWAN News.
Earlier this week, the Mission Aviation Fellowship marked a significant milestone with the arrival of a brand new aircraft, P2AFD. The aircraft, donated by the postcode people from the British Isles, represented a lifeline to remote and isolated communities across PNG. On the 2nd of June, after a roughly 5-hour flight from Cairns, Australia, to Kagamooga Aerodrome in the Western Highlands province, the new aircraft P2AFD touched down on PNG soil. Following the arrival and completion of necessary procedures, MAF staff and guests gathered around the aircraft in a moment of prayer, dedicating it to God's service and asking for protection over all who will fly in it, maintain it, and be impacted by its mission. The aircraft now joins an existing fleet of 9 Cessna Caravan aircraft and 1 amphibious C-208. These aircrafts play a crucial role in reaching more than 200 isolated airstrips across the country, providing access to healthcare, education, emergency evacuations, and spiritual support. Dom Sant, MAF PNG Interim Country Director, acknowledged the people of the British Isles and MAF teams in the UK, Cairns, Australia, and worldwide. The new aircraft is already flying operational, with pilot Marcus Bischoff taking off the next day from its arrival from Mount Hagen, heading out for a 3-day overnight tour to Telefomin in West Sepik Province, serving the communities in the Min and border area west of the Strickland River in Western Province. And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2436 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2361 $0.3609 Australian dollars, 0.1988 euro, and 33.32 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, all closed higher, except copper and crude oil closed lower. And palm oil closed the day unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. We'll take a short break and return on the other side with more news. Stay with us.
The PNG LNG project has now generated more than 30 billion kina for Papua New Guinea since production commenced. Nearly half of this amount has been paid as tax. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levies and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend. PNG's own coffee.
For Simon, life is simple. Dreams seem distant, yet hope remains. One ticket, one dream. Simon's world changed forever.
Yes!
From small dreams to big possibilities. One Top Jackpot is here for everyone. Win big every day.
As one storm stops, another starts.
Nice pass off. Here's Xavier and some space. Still
The Bulldogs are having a party in 2025. Right under the black dots. He's got support arriving infield. He used the kick option.
They're going to get there. It's a try from dummy half.
Ah, he's too good. He's too clever. He's too quick.
Beautiful ball. That is wonderful. What a shot. That's a cracking try.
Thanks for staying with us. In a major boost for Papua New Guinean literature, CHM has officially partnered with local author Ricky Mitio as the exclusive mainstream distributor of his new autobiography, Ovu Gahoe, now available nationwide. Under the agreement, CHM will retail the book across its stores, including the high-traffic A Little Something from PNG duty-free outlet at Jackson's International Airport, giving the book instant international exposure. Priced at 160 kina, each copy includes a complimentary gift bag. Ovu Gahoe is also reaching rural communities in PNG and the Solomon Islands via FarmSet PNG with sponsorship, support from the Coffee Industry Corporation, Mama Bank and KKB Limited. Turning abroad, the Chief of the Defence Force has warned that Australia may have to prepare for the possibility of launching combat operations from its own soil. The stark warning comes as the debate over defence spending continues to rage in Canberra.
We're having to reconsider Australia as a homeland from which we will conduct combat operations. And that, again, is a very different way, almost since the Second World War, about how we think of national resilience and preparedness of we may need to operate and conduct combat operations from this country. And that's everything from our northern infrastructure, our supply chains.
A new national lung cancer screening program starting in July is expected to detect an extra 1,500 cases each year. Lung cancer is the nation's deadliest cancer, and advocates say the new screening program provides long-awaited hope. The program aims to save 12,000 lives over the next decade.
Anne Fiddler felt fit and healthy when she was diagnosed with advanced lung cancer.
I had no evidence, no cough, nothing.
The cancer was treated effectively for 2 years before it was picked up again.
As in my case, it's incurable. So, it's just a matter of how much time I've got now.
Anne may have had longer to live had the cancer been detected sooner, making it easier to treat.
If I can please get you to pop your arms.
Early detection is the aim of a new screening program that provides bulk billing of a low-dose CT scan for nearly 1 million Australians aged 50 to 70 with a significant history of smoking.
The problem with lung cancer is that by the time you have symptoms, it's either locally advanced or has spread distantly, which makes cure difficult and results in poorer survival.
Over the next decade, the program is predicted to save 12,000 lives from a generation of people who took up the habit when smoking was more prevalent.
This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for what we understand to be a life-saving screening program.
Lung cancer is Australia's deadliest cancer, killing nearly 9,000 people annually.
15,000 people are diagnosed each year, and just 26% live for a further 5 years. But it's hoped this new screening program will turn that figure around. It's estimated the screening will identify an extra 1,500 cases of lung cancer annually. Anne hopes the stigma around the disease won't deter people from taking part in the new scheme.
Nobody deserves to have cancer, whether you're a smoker or a past smoker or a non-smoker. Nobody deserves it.
While scans are only for people with a history of smoking, advocates say it's a good start.
The latest snapshot of the Australian economy isn't painting a very rosy picture. Current GDP figures show growth is weak and falling behind both economist expectations and Reserve Bank forecasts, and that's strengthening the case for further interest rate cuts.
For Vince Perry's carpet and tiles business, times are challenging.
There is a lack of money out there. There's no money to spend. Whoever has money is not spending money.
And that's showing up in the official figures, with Australia on the cusp of another household recession, where the amount of money spent per person is going backwards.
Well, it does demonstrate that the recovery that we've seen through the second half of last year and into this year is pretty sluggish.
Australia's economy barely grew in the March quarter, up 0.2%, and 1.3% for the year. It was boosted by household spending on essentials like electricity and gas. Private sector investment rose, led by housing construction, mining and manufacturing. However, the result was dragged down by the biggest pullback in government spending since 2017. Australians are also deciding to save more of their money, driving up the household savings ratio.
With all of the uncertainty in the world, any growth is a decent outcome.
Donald Trump's on and off again tariffs are driving that uncertainty, which could lead to more interest rate cuts.
I'm forecasting 3 more rate cuts before the end of this year, and part of that is the pessimism that I have on the global economy with US tariff policy.
There are storm clouds ahead for the Australian economy, so money markets are predicting a more than 80% chance of the Reserve Bank cutting interest rates at its next meeting in July. But if that doesn't end up happening, a rate cut in August is seen as almost certain in order to insulate the economy from the worst of the potential Trump tariff shock.
With Darwin's largest multicultural festival, Glenty, coming up this weekend, preparations are well underway. The Greek community have rolled up their sleeves readying to feed the thousands of people expected to attend.
It's a labour of love. Each dolma is rolled by hand, one by one, and Katina has made thousands in her lifetime.
Γίνονται στη ρέσαπη, αυτή η συνταγή είναι δικιά μου εδώ σε 40 χρόνια. Την έκανα στο σπίτι μου πρώτα, μιλώ ελληνικά. Την έκανα στο σπίτι μου και το έφερνα λίγο. Ύστερα είδανε πόσο ωραίο ήτανε και αρχίσανε να με βάλουν να κάνω όλα τα υλικά.
Dolmadis are delicious parcels of meat, rice, herbs and spices wrapped in vine leaves. The local Greek community, many of whom hail from the island of Kalymnos, call them fila. The family favourite recipe now passed along to new generations.
I remember sitting at my Yaya's table in the house, sitting there with Yaya, and she was teaching me how to do them at a very young age.
In true Greek hospitality, there'll be no shortage of food on offer at Glenty. Keftedes were also being cooked today, while tons of souvla, octopus and calamari have been prepped. But it's all worth the effort.
Glenty is a celebration of our Greek heritage, but it's also a celebration of our families, our community and our standing in the NT community, I suppose.
Preparations for Glenty begin months in advance, and with tens of thousands of dolmadis to roll, weighing more than 600 kilos combined, it's easy to see why everyone has to pitch in.
A lot of non-profit associations outside of the Greek community. We've got Darwin High School down that end. We've got St John's Volunteer Corps and a lot of other non-profit associations taking part in helping us out as volunteers, even the Filipino community.
Many hands making light work.
You're watching TV1 News. Sport is next. Stay tuned.
Digital business.
We help grow your business with secure, reliable and cost-effective ICT solutions. We will manage your technology so you can power your vision for your business with the best solutions to offer. Accelerate your business growth with digital business cloud solutions with cloud platform services, disaster recovery as a service and backup as a service. Talk to our cloud solutions experts today. Digital Business. Better solutions for better business.
Johnston with some room to move. Alex Johnston, he kicks it again. This should be a try. Alex Johnston.
It's an unstoppable rush. Taking that extra mile, pushing beyond the limit, and making it happen. Fueling the passion for rugby and empowering the next generation. Feel the power.
Cold Pal Lemon. It's tough on stains and gentle on clothes. Cold Pal Lemon has a great lemon fragrance which brightens your clothes and gives that extra freshness that lasts all day long. Cold Pal Lemon, tough on stains, gentle on clothes with extra freshness.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
In the Pacific, sport is a lot more than just a game.
It's about mana, the spiritual power within us all.
Le Malo Sianga, from our people, our strength, and the heart of the Pacific.
It's driven by custom, our connection to culture, and bringing people together.
And Matavu Vale, where every player stands tall for themselves and their community.
And it's about sharing those incredible stories.
You can actually move mountains.
You just never know where it's going to take you.
Join us for your weekly hit of Pacific sporting action.
Celebrating the inspiring stories and incredible athletes from the Pacific and around the world.
I grew up with a dream.
I think it's just in the blood.
Join us
for all the sporting action from across the Pacific.
Your Pacific sporting journey starts here.
Welcome back. The PNG Rugby Football League Board has officially announced the extension of Tani Norris's tenure as head coach of the PNG Orchids for an additional 2 years, leading up to the Rugby League World Cup in 2026. The announcement was made during a small but significant ceremony held today in Port Moresby. It was attended by PNG RFL CEO Stanley Hondina, Board Director Lorna McPherson, and PNG Orchids Chairlady Celestine Ove.
His appointment as head coach of the PNG Orchids is seen as a strategic move by PNG RFL to build on the strong foundations she laid since taking over the coaching role in 2024 following the departure of former coach Ben Jeffrey. In his statement before the official announcement, PNG RFL CEO Stanley Hondina highlighted Norris's impressive playing background, which includes representing Queensland and Australia, as well as competing in 4 Rugby League World Cups, 2003, 2008, 2013 and 2020.
We're extending the services of Tani Norris again for another 2 years leading into the World Cup 2026. She was with us last year, so when she came on board, we set foot in the door, so as get a bit of understanding as to what Papua New Guinea is, the challenges of the game in this country with the gender diversity and everything around it. And board at a meeting last Saturday, and the board vetted, and she has the full support of the PNG RFL board, with Lorna being here supporting her appointment to lead our Orchids into the next World Cup 2026. That is when a couple of matches we hoping to host in this part of the world, as well as in Australia. And Tani brings a skill set of what she's got and what she's done and the experience across the game, and we are happy to announce that she will continue to work with us.
Coach Tani expressed her gratitude towards the PNG RFL board and her excitement for the overwhelming support she has received.
And to be appointed for 2 years in a lead up to the World Cup and be able to be part of the growth of the sport is really exciting for me. I can see there is so much potential here, which, you know, I'm super excited about the Santos Cup. Not only have I been here for the last couple of days helping out with the coaching staff here, which is an important part of that growth and development, but the players that are coming through that is really exciting to see the depth of talent that this country has. So to be able to work with the Santos coaches over the last couple of days and develop that, and that in itself is a growth for us.
Director Lorna McPherson also praised the National Youth Under-19 Boys competition for the skill level being displayed, which she believes can be effectively mirrored in the girls' game as they move forward.
If I look at the last game, I think it was the Under-19 Stanley with the boys, and how the youngsters and the youths and the men played, those Under-17s and Under-19s, and how they really played really well. And I look at the years it took us to get there, and we just started with the women's, right? And one of the things Tani's been teaching even me, and I've been doing rugby for a long time, is about consistency, it's about communication, it's about how we speak about it, how do we act as well, and also public out there as well. You know, we need everybody to get behind us. We're one nation, we're one people, and we have got the most fantastic youngsters coming up as the Orchid. We call them our blossoming Orchids.
Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
PNG RFL has officially announced that the PNG Orchids will compete in 2 international women's matches in the upcoming weeks. The announcement was made during a press conference celebrating Tani Norris's contract extension with the Orchids for an additional 2 years.
Stanley Hondina today confirmed that the Orchids will host the Australian Defence Force women's team in Port Moresby on June 15, 2025. This match will serve as a curtain raiser for the Queensland Rugby League Round 13 clash between the PNG Hunters and the Sunshine Coast Falcons. Following this home game, the Orchids will travel to Brisbane to face the Brisbane Broncos NRLW team at the Suncorp Stadium on June 22.
Introduction of our Santos Cup was a first step to getting more game time. And the next step to that is a game at another level that is closer to test matches or international. So this year, with Tani's input and work with our performance and pathway department, we've confirmed 2 matches in between to get our girls more exposure, closing the gap to give them that experience to do well when it comes to the end of the year, hopefully. So we've got a game with the Australian Defence Force on the 15th of June. Here in Port Moresby, that's next weekend. They do a curtain raiser to our Hunters game as one of the international hitouts. And there's another one that we have on the 22nd of June in Brisbane as a curtain raiser or a lead-up match playing the Australian NRLW team in a trial match. So those are because of involvement like Tani and the team that comes through identifying the gap, trying to bridge the gap by putting these things in place. So these 2 games are what we've got lined up before the Pacific Championship.
Tani Norris, in her first year with Orchids, has identified gaps in the development of women's rugby league in PNG. Her proactive approach includes organizing series of matches aimed at elevating the team's competitive standards to align more closely with the NRLW and international play. Since her arrival last year, Norris has gained valuable insights into the status of women's rugby league in PNG, recognizing the unique challenges related to gender diversity within the sport. She has been diligently working to navigate these issues and enhance the overall framework of women's rugby league in the country.
So Blossoming Orchids program is already in place. That's been the last few months of actually compiling those players. Most of them have come from what's already been in the Santos Cup from last year. And we've got a really strong group of junior orchids, senior orchids, and plus additional players that we've identified from the Santos Cup that have been picked in the Blossoming Orchids team that'll actually be part of next week's trial game against the Australian Defence Force.
Prior to the recent announcement, Norris has been actively involved in developing women's program in the Santos Cup, further demonstrating her commitment to advancing women's rugby league in Papua New Guinea. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
There was a time when a trip to McDonald Jones Stadium would fill an opposition team with fear. But such are Knights' woes in 2025 that Manly will have the opening game of round 14 penciled in for a victory. Of course, there will be no complacency for the Sea Eagles, even though they are coming off a slashing win over Brisbane, while the Knights suffered their 8th loss of the season to the Dragons in another lackluster display.
The Knights have treated their loyal fans to a victory only once in 5 home games this season, a 26-12 defeat of the Dolphins way back in round 2. The return of star fullback Kalen Ponga will ensure the Knights are far more competitive, but their attack is the worst in the NRL with an average of 13, so it's tough to see how they come up with enough points to trouble the Seagulls. Star winger Greg Mazu remained in the squad when it was trimmed 24 hours out from kick-off and looks set for a return. Kalen Ponga is back in the number 1 jumper after being rested last week following Origin 1, so Fletcher Sharp reverts to 5'8" and Jack Cogger to halfback. Brodie Jones starts in the front row with Leo Thompson serving a 4-game ban for crusher tackle. Young back rower Eliza Salea Laumoana will make the NRL debut off the bench. Jake Trbojevic is back after missing 2 games with concussion, so Tazi Tevaga slides to the bench and Matt Lodge drops out. No changes in Thursday's 24-hour update with Michael Chi-Ken, 18th man, and Jake Arthur remaining in the squad. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
In Morabit and the Highlands, a unique program is using sport to inspire social change. AFL PNG and the PNG Tribal Foundation have teamed up to deliver the Pilai Long Senis initiative, reaching youth through both play and powerful messaging. AFL PNG, in partnership with the PNG Tribal Foundation, recently completed Phase 1 of the Pilai Long Senis program across 6 communities and secondary schools in Morabit and the Highlands. The initiative blends AFL's PNG's Smart Starts New Kick platform with the Sanisim Passing campaign to encourage respectful relationships, leadership, and positive community values while tackling gender-based violence in a culturally relevant way. With Phase 2 scheduled for June, the team will return to the same communities, taking a deeper sports for development approach to strengthen grassroots action against gender-based violence. And that ends the sports segment. We'll now have the weather forecast. Regional forecast. Southern, Port Moresby sunny to possible brief showers, rain drizzles and inland thunderstorms. Popondetta becoming cloudy with evening heavy showers, rain and possible thunderstorms. Momase, lay cloudy with frequent heavy rain showers and thunderstorms. Vanimo, cloudy with evening heavy rain showers and possible thunderstorms. New Guinea Islands, Kokopo Rabaul, cloudy with evening occasional heavy showers, rain and possible thunderstorms. Highlands, Mediterranean Wabeg, cloudy periods with heavy showers, rain and possible thunderstorms. Ocean forecast. Coral Sea. Seas moderate to rough with southeast to southerly winds of 20 to 33 knots. Solomon Sea. Sea slight to moderate with southeast to southwest winds of 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck Sea. Sea smooth to slight with southwest to westerly winds of 5 to 15 knots. Pacific Ocean. Sea smooth to slight with northwest to westerly winds of 5 to 10 knots. And coastal waters forecast. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru, Kiwai Island, Kerama, Yule Island, Hood Point to Samarai. Seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters, rising to 3 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finchefin. Seas 1 to 2 meters. And that ends TV1 News. Thanks for your company. Good night.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by